The rancher had always believed that land remembered people, that the soil beneath a man's boots carried the weight of every footstep ever pressed into it. But he never imagined it remembered intentions as well. His ranch stretched farther than the eye could see, a vast ocean of dry gold grass rolling under a sky that showed no mercy. He had inherited it from his father, who had inherited it from a man who never spoke of where he came from, and that silence itself had always felt heavier than words. On that morning, when the sun rose pale and uneasy, the rancher sensed something was wrong long before he could explain it. The animals were quiet, unnaturally so, as if the land itself had commanded them to listen. He worked near the old tree, the one that stood alone like a witness that refused to leave, its branches twisted in shapes that made children uneasy and grown men pretend not to notice. The rope still hung there, weathered, cracked, yet strong enough to hold memories no one wanted. When he heard footsteps behind him, he turned with the confidence of a man who had never truly been afraid of another human being. That was when he saw her. She did not belong to the land, and the land knew it. She wore black from head to toe, the fabric stiff and old, dust clinging to it as if she had walked for days without stopping. Her face was pale, not sickly, but drained, as if something had been taken and never returned. She asked for water, her voice low and steady yet trembling beneath control. The rancher stepped forward without thinking, lifting his hand in what he believed was kindness, offering help, offering safety. The moment his hand moved, the air shifted. It was subtle at first, like the pressure change before a storm, but enough to make his skin prickle. She looked at his hand, then at his face, and her eyes hardened with a pain far older than either of them. "Your hands. That was wrong," she said quietly, each word sinking into him like a nail. Confused, embarrassed, he pulled back, apologizing, explaining, laughing nervously. But the land did not laugh with him. The wind stopped. The grass stilled. Even the sky seemed to dull. She stepped backward toward the old tree, her movement unnatural, gliding rather than walking. And with every step the rancher felt a pull, as if the ground itself wanted him closer. He followed her despite every instinct screaming to stop. Beneath the tree she turned once more, her face now fractured with sorrow and something far worse, and from above them the rope began to sway though there was no wind. Images flooded his mind, not visions, but memories that did not belong to him. Hands grabbing in the dark, voices begging to be believed, apologies spoken too late. The horses screamed then, breaking their reins, fleeing the ranch as if chased by fire. The woman vanished, leaving only the rope and the echo of her words. The rancher stood frozen, realizing too late that some lines once crossed awaken things that never sleep again. That night terror came not as a sudden attack, but as a slow, deliberate unraveling of everything the rancher thought he understood. Darkness settled over the land like a living thing, pressing against the walls of the house, slipping through cracks, breathing softly. The rancher locked the doors, though he did not know what he hoped to keep out. The silence inside was louder than any storm he had known. The lantern flickered, its flame bending away from corners as if avoiding something unseen. When he noticed the footprints on the floor, bare, dusty, leading toward the beam in the ceiling, his chest tightened with a fear so deep it felt ancient. He remembered his father's warnings, stories cut short, lessons never fully explained. The beam creaked and the rope slid down slowly, brushing his shoulder, warm, almost human. The voice returned, no longer distant. "Your hands take before they understand," it whispered. Not accusing, not forgiving, simply stating a truth. The walls began to bleed memories, shadows replaying scenes of travelers, women, strangers who had trusted the wrong kindness, who had been touched without permission, helped without respect. The woman appeared again, her form distorted, stretched beyond humanity, a manifestation of consequence, rather than revenge. She showed him what she truly was, something born from repeated wrongs, fed by careless intentions disguised as goodness. The rancher fell to his knees, not begging for mercy, but admitting what he had never questioned. Every assumption he had made, every boundary he had crossed, believing himself righteous. The house shook as if considering his words. Slowly, painfully, the terror receded. The rope withdrew. The shadows faded. Morning arrived cautiously, light spilling into a place forever changed. The rancher survived, but survival came at a cost heavier than death. He left the land soon after, marking the tree not as a warning, but as a reminder. Intent does not erase impact. And if this story shook you, disturbed you, and stayed with you longer than comfort allows. Make sure you subscribe to the channel now, because the most terrifying stories are not about monsters, they are about mistakes we refuse to see.